We are going to work on lesson 14, that continuous probability distributions. But before we did that, I wanted to spend a little bit of time on that lesson 13, that cumulative probability distribution. The hardest part about that is figuring out which value to put into your calculator. I have a worksheet we're going to practice on. If you want to go to Canvas, and you can get a copy for yourself, it's under the lesson 13 module, and it's this practice choosing the right variable. Okay, so here's the worksheet. Okay, so we're talking about binom CDF, and remember binom CDF, N is the number of items, the number of trials, that's the word I'm looking for. P is the probability of success, and X is how many successes you're interested in. So I've got a couple of, I should have numbered these, wasn't thinking. Okay, so I've got a couple of examples of these statements that would be within a problem. Like find the probability of 8 or fewer of something. And notice I haven't told you, for all of these, let's say, for sake of clarity, I forgot to include this too. Again, it's a last minute thing. Okay, let's say we have a binomial probability distribution with 20 trials, and P, the probability of success, is 0.35. I'm asked to find the probability of 8 or fewer. All right, so circle the range that is represented by the statement. If I'm asked to find 8 or fewer, the probability of 8 or fewer successes, the probability distribution is 10, because that's what it gets to. So we're going to change this to 10. If we're trying to find the probability 8 or fewer, remember this is what I was talking about on Monday. You have to ask yourself, is that 8 included or not? So 8 or fewer, that is talking about 0 through 8. Okay, does everyone see that? So then the inequality would be what? And so this is X inequality number. So what I'm looking for is a statement that looks like this, where the X represents this number here. This is the red X. Okay, so this is 8 or fewer. So this would be X less than or equal to 8. So I would be finding the probability of X is less than or equal to 8. So this one we don't have to worry about. Let's just ignore this third column. I got this from my colleague, and I'm not sure what she was meaning by that one. Okay, so the probability as the binom CDF, here I would write binom CDF. It would be 10, 0.35, 8. What I'd like you to do is work on the rest of these. Okay, the reason why I wanted you to spend some time on this is because, remember, we're doing discrete variables. When we're looking at less than 3, for example, doing part B, when we're looking at less than 3, whatever we put in here is going to be included, okay? Because the calculator, remember, for discrete variables, well, for all the calculations, is doing 0 to whatever number you tell it to stop at. And that's what this number is here. In the second one, we need to make sure to tell it to stop at 2, because this is less than 3. So as an inequality, it's a strict inequality, X is less than 3. So that is the same as saying 2 or fewer. 3 is not included in this one. So we can also write the inequality here as X is less than or equal to 2. And so these two equivalent, I'm saying the same exact thing. But when I write my probability notation, I need to choose one of those. And notice I consciously chose the version where this number is the one I put into the calculator, okay? And we're not putting this in the calculator, we're just practicing figuring out what number to get out. So if we do the next one, this next one then is more than 6. So more than 6, that does not include 6. It's talking about strictly more than 6, which means I'm looking at 7, 8, 9, or 10. Okay, as an inequality, that would be X is more than 10. That would be X is more than 6, or to write it as an inclusive inequality, like I did above, I could write X is greater than or equal to 7. Okay, and again, these both mean the same exact thing. I need to choose one of these to put into my probability notation. I'm going to choose the one that includes the value that I'm going to put in my calculator. But I have to be careful, because can I put that 7 in my calculator? The answer is no, because I'm doing a more than, which means at 7 and up. My calculator only knows one operation, and that's 0 to a point. So my calculator only knows how to do this. So I've got to tell my calculator where to stop. My calculator is going to calculate this, and I'm going to need to use that complement. I'm going to have 1 minus the binom CDF of 10.35, and not the 7, the complement of that, which is the 6. Okay, so at most 7 includes 7. Okay, so that's 7 and below. So that's really going to be like number 8, or excuse me, the first one we did. So this is less than or equal to 7, which is the probability of x is less than or equal to 7, which is the binom CDF 10.35 and 7. Okay, similarly, no more than 5 means 5 is included. Okay, so it's basically going to be the one we just did, but with 5s. Okay, at least 4, and this one's probably one of the trickiest ones. At least 4 means 4, 5, 6, etc. Okay, so that's 4 and above. So this one, I'm going to need to use the complement again. I'm going to use the complement between 0 and 3, but my inequality is x is greater than or equal to 4. So that would be the probability of x is greater than 4. But then in my calculator, I'm not going to put the 4. It's a complement. It's going to be the 1 minus binom CDF 10.35. And is it going to be a 4 or a 3? It's going to be a 3, because what I'm wanting to find is this. My calculator needs to find the 0 to 3. Fewer than 10. Fewer than 10 does not include 10, so that's 9 and below. So my inequality then is x is less than or equal to 9. Let me rewrite that. Or I can write it as x is strictly less than 10. So again, the probability for the less thans, I like to include the number, and then that's going to be a binom CDF. 10.35 and 9. Finally, 2 or more includes the 2, so I'm looking at this. And again, that is going up from 2, so I'm looking at finding all of these. Doesn't include the 0, so again, I'm looking at the complement. So this is like F and C, where I need to use the calculator to find these two. So that's going to be a 1 minus a binom CDF 10.35, 1. I need to use the calculator to find those two. Okay, so the probability here is the probability that x is greater than or equal to 2. And I can write it as x is greater than or equal to 2. Okay, so hopefully that gives you a bit of a better understanding. I will see you tomorrow. Okay, have a great rest of the afternoon, folks.